Stand by for Dragon Ball Z. Coming next.
Today we're going to discuss something that could have happened with the arguably greatest arc of Super, that being the Goku Black arc. One of the main things that I thought right away when we saw Goku Black, how big of a missed opportunity everything was. The whole concept of Zamasu taking hold of someone's body from the Z Warrior cast. They chose Goku for obvious reasons. One, fans wanted to see an evil Goku, even though we had already gotten an evil Goku, that being Turles. But fans still wanted an evil Goku. So we did end up with Goku Black. When I reanalyze this entire arc, I can't help but see all the mentions of Gohan, future Gohan to be exact, from Trunks' timeline. And one of the things that's glaringly obvious to me, this would have been so much better if Zamasu didn't take control of Goku's body, but future Gohan's body. Can you imagine how great the story would have been if future Gohan would have been Zamasu? We would have had Gohan Black. This could have opened up so many opportunities for a great story structure. One of the big things about this would be that Trunks would have to face his master, the person who helped him be who he is today, the person he idolized, the person that he saw die, who he still has remorse and regret over. Now, granted, in the Super arc, we did get to see Trunks meet present-time Gohan and him have some discourse with him and sort of come to closure with seeing Gohan finally fulfilling his dream and having the family that he knew he always wanted. I personally believe that Gohan should have been involved in this arc. It would make so much sense for Trunks to tell Gohan about this entire situation. If Gohan Black was the villain instead of Goku Black, I believe Gohan would have been a lot more intimately involved in this arc. I don't know if I would necessarily have him be an active component in going back to the future, but I definitely would have had him be aware of the situation that was going on with Trunks. One of the things I would have loved to have seen about future Gohan Black is seeing him fight against Goku, his father. Can you just imagine how great that would be visually? Seeing future Gohan see his father, even though it's not necessarily him, but just seeing him fight his father, even though it's technically Zamasu. How visually interesting that would be. And not only that, there was a lot of other things in this arc that I think they really missed out on. One thing that I had always been wondering about Trunks' timeline is, where's Videl? Where's Mr. Satan? Are they dead? Do they exist? What would have been really awesome is to see Gohan and Vegeta go back to Trunks' timeline and see Gohan run into future Videl. How would that interaction be? What would go on between the two? It would be very interesting. And not only that, one of the biggest things that I personally would have loved to see is Vegeta meet future Bulma. I would just love to see future Bulma interact with a Vegeta that she never had the privilege of getting to know. It would have been so much better to just see the interactions between those characters, but we didn't get that opportunity here. Not saying that this arc didn't get a lot of things right. It definitely had a lot of moments where it's like, wow, this is such a cool idea. But the arc is really heavily implemented in Gohan's story as well. Like, there's a lot of things about his past, specifically with Trunks and his connection with Trunks. There's a lot of moments that we see, you know, intertwined with the history of Trunks film. So it would have made so much more sense to me that instead of it being Goku Black, the character be Gohan Black, and then we would have a lot more of a deeper meaning behind this fight for Trunks. Because at the end of the day, this is not Goku and Vegeta's fight, this is Trunks' fight with this entity known as Zamasu. And you could argue that, well, Zamasu would want to have Goku's power, why would he go to get Gohan? That's a very good point. They would obviously have to restructure the story a bit. Maybe he chose Gohan because of his anger power-up. That could have been a reason why he went with future Gohan. It's really hard for me to figure out how story-wise it would make sense, but I will say, if they figured out how to implement that character with the story, for Trunks, this would have a really, really great effect. And I do think that this whole arc should have been more of a focus between Trunks in Zamasu than necessarily Goku and Zamasu. Not saying that I don't think it was an interesting thing, but I do think it would have been a lot more interesting to focus on Gohan and Trunks and have Goku and Vegeta be there in the background and help out, so to speak, but let those two characters take the center field in this specific arc, because this is all about for Trunks to come to closure with everything. My personal canon for the whole Trunks timeline after he went back to his timeline and defeated Cell was that he went to the new Namek of that timeline and wished everyone back with the Dragon Balls. As we clearly see in Super, that did not happen, which to my dismay, I was absolutely furious about. I thought he would absolutely go do that. I thought this knowledge would be out there and that he would go ahead and wish everyone back with the Dragon Balls in his timeline. But unfortunately, as future Trunks always has, he has the worst possible luck. But instead we get Mai and Trunks and their interesting relationship, and I use relationships in quotes. We get to see those two react with future Bulma, which was cool. It was nice to see Trunks hang out with a woman that he obviously had feelings for. However, I will say, it's never really quite explained how Mai is young. How did she get to be young in a timeline where there is no Dragon Balls? Because one thing that we clearly know in Dragon Ball Super, at least with Trunks' timeline, there are no Dragon Balls. So how in the world did she become young? Was there some kind of fountain of youth or some kind of item that she just acquired? It's never quite explained, and this is definitely a plot hole here in this specific arc. I guess you could conclude that before the whole events of the Android saga, she used the Dragon Balls prior, but that really doesn't quite make sense, but I guess we can just run with it. It is Dragon Ball, and we do accept its plot holes and just move on with the story and enjoy. But there's a lot of things here that could have been fixed, I think, and it's a good arc. Overall, it's a good arc up until the ending, really. I mean, the ending is where everyone kind of agrees it's not quite satisfactory. And, you know, the whole thing with Trunks' timeline being completely destroyed and him ending up in a timeline with another Trunks and another Mai. What are they doing? Are they having some kind of four-way? What is going down? I still don't get it. I really can't comprehend what's going on there. I do think it would have been so much more simplistic to just have Goku or Vegeta learn Hakai and then just get rid of Zamasu that way. I think in the manga they actually did cover that. I'm not 100%, but I do believe they did. There's a lot of other things that just made this arc a complete mess. But this is my idea. I do think that having future Gohan be, you know, the catalyst for Zamasu to carry out his zero mortal plan, it would have just been visually interesting to see Gohan be a lead in an arc, so to speak, and to see Gohan as an evil character hasn't been done, really. I mean, you've seen Goku be evil before. We've seen it. We've seen Turles. We've seen other things with that character that has happened, but we've never seen Gohan go into the deep end. And one of the things about Gohan's character that I always liked, he had this anger power-up. And one thing about Super Saiyan transformations, at least back in the day, was each time you transform into a different level of Super Saiyan, your personality sort of changed. Like, you became more aggressive. Like, for example, when Gohan went Super Saiyan 2, he was like a completely different person. I really do miss that aspect of transformations. You know, one of the greatest things about it was seeing a personality switch between Saiyans. So I just would have think it would have been interesting to see Gohan take centerfold in this arc. Having the present timeline Gohan be involved in the arc would have been interesting as well. However, I do wonder what we could actually have him do in the arc. But it would have been interesting to see present time Gohan fight future Gohan, which would be Gohan Black. That would have been interesting, visually pleasing, and also having Videl just watch his two versions of her husband are fighting. That would be cool. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you think that this would have made the Goku Black arc better. And also, if you guys have any ideas for another video like this, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys around.
Are you feeling angry, humiliated? Is that it?